hear me? Hello. Hi, B. Hi, Carla. Someone let me know if they can see and hear me. We are live, I believe. Hi, Mary Grace. Thanks for tuning in today. Carla, there you are. Same to you. Well, I am glad to be able to do a live stream with everyone. The reason I am doing this is to get acquainted with my subscribers. You get acquainted with me. I've been on YouTube now for 3 years, a little over 3 years, and I know some of you have questions about the tarot that you may want to ask me personally. So today is a great format to do that. Hey, Summer, nice to see you. So, if anybody has any questions, ever since you've gotten on my particular channel and you say, I know Carol, and I wonder about this or this part of the tarot, please feel free to go ahead and ask me those questions today. And I do want to reiterate that this format is for everyone. We want to share, we want your input about the tarot, about the community, about what you want, what you're striving for. Let me see if I have any questions here. Hi, Carol. Happy to be able to join you for a little while on the way from South Africa. I've been there about 3 years ago with my son. Africa is amazing. It leaves a mark on you, that's for sure. Carla says, everybody's telling everybody hello. Okay. Anybody new here that I don't know? Mary Grace. Mary Grace, I'm sorry, I don't recall. I think maybe back a couple years ago, there may have been a Mary Grace. Thanks for joining me today. So let me begin by asking everyone a question. Why did you venture into the tarot? Does anyone want to share that particular answer with the community right now? What spurred you to say tarot is a wonderful medium I want to learn? I think that's a fascinating way to understand our personality self, where we are on our spiritual journey. Don't hear anything yet, or I should say I don't read anything yet. The psychological benefits, Carla, that is so true, especially the path. The major arcana can transform you. And I found individually that I was transformed by the entering into the card, the meditation state that I entered, especially with our own cards, our personal cards from our date of birth. For me, it was the Fool. And believe me, entering into the realm of the Fool was quite not only mystical, it was a little bit frightening. So yes, Carla, absolutely, the psychology of it. Hi, everyone. The psychology benefits. I was pulled after a really big life challenge and needed a place to explore myself. That is from Summer. So, Summer, did you have a life event where you felt that you needed answers not from out there, but more inside, and that the tarot was going to be your tool? Is that a possible explanation for that? That challenge? Carla, I have okay, go. I understand. Come back. Make sure you wash your hands, but come back. Dawn Barclay, hi. I was drawn to it and the answer it gave me. Okay, Dawn, tell me, is it consistent? Are the answers consistent for you? Are you able to put away your own let's say, a, a conditions, filtering system, because I know that has been a problem for many people. We have our own filtering systems, our own way of distorting information. So, Dawn, I would love to hear your response to that, if you can. So, is everyone able to hear me well? Want to make sure that. Okay, feathered happiness. I was raised in a, yep, cartomacy background, and I was just second nature. Understand. Oh, someone just came. I'm sorry. Hold on, Feather. I was just second nature to me. So I went into tarot back into the early 90s when there wasn't much info. Oh my goodness, yes. I entered it in the late 60s, early 70s. You couldn't go to a bookstore. There was no such thing as walking into a New Age store, bookstore. You had to go underground. You had to go in the I would say the not the metaphysical, but the occult shops where there was paraphernalia in order to get your books and things. So I identify with that feathered happiness, as well as I come from a family of witches. So, okay, now back to summer. It was a lower moment. Oh, you're talking about the response. No, it was a tower moment, and me not understanding things that happened. I didn't at first realize what the tarot did exactly. So it wasn't because of wanting answers exactly, more a place of focus, absolutely, to get us focused away from our own conditionings and thought pattern. Very good, Summer. Dawn, it's hard sometimes. I can't. It's so easy to hear what you want. And that's when I'm teaching, Dawn, that's exactly it. We color our cards, and stepping back from that takes experience and time. You are not alone. We also keep that journal because that journal is going to remind us how much we're changing with reading the cards, going back, because our conditioning is changing, our personality self is changing. I just want to add to that, Dawn, that's so important that it spurs me to say we are threefold beings. And by that, I mean we have our higher self, which is our spirit. We have our soul self, which is our higher self. And then we have our personality self. All of those are manifesting in our consciousness when we are reading the tarot. Of course, we want the spiritual self, but that ego always wants to take place. So it is a process. Okay, Summer, back to you. My brain spirals and I need to focus or I go downhill fast. You're not alone. That's what the fool is doing as he's experiencing through life. Evie, my granddaughter, is here. Oh my God. Hi, sweet girl. Thanks for joining me today, Evie. I'm sure you're on your way to North Carolina. Love and kisses from your grandmere. Hi, B. Hi, everyone. She's saying hi to everybody. Ariel, hi. Good to see you. Good morning. If you are on the East Coast, absolutely. Thanks for joining me. Um, Summer saying hi to everybody. Carla's back. She changed that diaper. Okay, she's adding. I also find the connection with my guides the greatest with tarot. With meditation, I find peace, but with the tarot, I get detail. And Carla, is it through symbology? I'll let you answer that question as I go to Dawn. Dawn is saying, I was going through a traumatic period, raised strongly Christian, and everything was falling. I ended up falling on the floor and asking to be led. So I was led where I needed to go. Wow, Dawn, very, very powerful. Very powerful. It seemed like the analogy there was you had to hit the ground before you could pick yourself back up. Fascinating. Ariel, I am in Phoenix. Okay. All right. It's definitely still morning. And Dawn, hello to everybody. So, oh, this is wonderful. This is what I want to do now. If anybody has any outstanding questions, Please, again, we can get off tarot and talk about some other things if you would like. Dawn, hello to everybody. Oh, welcome, Godship Lollipop. Hello from England. Welcome. I'm honored to have you. If you are late in the broadcast, what we are doing is asking specific questions about tarot. And the one that I addressed to everybody was, how did you journey into tarot? What got you started? Was there an event? Was just a curiosity? And that's what I'm asking everybody to share with me today. Okay, all right. Nothing so far. So then I am going to do a little talking. I very much like Dawn. I come from a Christian family, although it was a very mystical Christian Catholic family. But my grandmother was a Cardinal of Marcy. She did readings upstairs in our home. I would see clients going in and out. My mother was an astrologer, and her sister was a tea leaf reader. So there was no way out of me not being in the metaphysical realm. But I did fight it. I fought it very much when I was a teenager, because as I became dating, I was allowed to date at 17. But when I started dating, my mother would see these boys come in and she would say to me, no, that one's not going to make it. This one's jealous. And I didn't want her to do that. So I thought, I am never going to do this. I'm never going to be intuitive. I'm never going to be psychic. I changed that around 19 years old. Here I am. Let's see. I thought, okay, this has got a good ship lollipop. I thought my mother, I thought, bought my mother, I apologize, a deck when I was 15 because I wanted them for myself. Wow, 15. Excellent. And have you been studying ever since? Ariel, I was led to return to tarot. Spirit told me it would help me to write. Are you a writer, Ariel? I know I don't know much about you, but are you a mystery writer, a fiction writer? Please let us know if you would like to share that with us. So everybody right now is a tarot reader, am I correct? That is here with me on the channel, other than, of course, my granddaughter, who is too young, but certainly has been acclimated to it. Uh, B, I know that you have been a tarot reader for a long time. I think our communication with one another led me to believe that, as well as your ability that I have seen live in doing readings and your knowledge of the cards. Carla, my sister brought me my first deck a couple years ago, but it took me a while to give it a chance. But boy, when the tarot fever hit. Wow, I'm still learning, but I love it. Carla, I am still learning, and I've been at it probably close to 50 years now. I learn every day. It's just amazing. They change with the times, which is another thing we can discuss. You know, when I first started, we were still more in the Piscean age. Right now, we are in Aquarian age. So the tarot is changing and evolving along with the years that we are in now, the millennium that we are in. Um, Summer says, I only read usually for me or family a lot. Thank you, good ship. Lollipop, you answered that question that I posed to you as a yes. And B says, yes, I have, Carol. I thought so, B. Good ship Lollipop continues. My trade has been a tattoo artist for the last 25 years. Woo! And the tarot has been involved always. Okay, let me pose you a question then, good ship Lollipop. Do you get a lot of clients who want to go into the macabre or the symbology of the mysticism, of the tarot, of the occult? I'd love to hear that answer. Let's see. Okay, I think I've got caught up with everybody. Does anybody have any questions for me that they would like to know? Summer said, I've got to head out. I have a great life. Thank you. Thank you, Summer, for joining me. Take care of your garden. It's beautiful. Please keep us in the loop as the summer is coming about. But bless you for everything that you do to that yard, how it's transformed. Thanks for joining me today. Everybody's saying bye to Summer. Oh, this is fantastic. I'm enjoying this. It's so different than radio. Many of you may know that I was a radio host for 16 years, and you can hide behind the mic. People hear your voice, but they don't see your face, of course, unless you're doing some advertisement. And I was always a little skeptical as, oh, at my age, do I really want to go in front of a camera live and talk to everybody? And of course, my children said, Mom, bite the bullet, do it. You know that you want to teach and you still want to be instrumental in helping people. YouTube is the way to go. So here I am. Good Ship Lollipop. No, it's always been my private. Okay, okay. And this is what I'm reading now is a response to Good Ship Lollipop when he is a tattoo artist for 25 years. And I asked him if there was symbology from his clients. And he's saying, no, it was private. It's only the last couple years I've been openly studying it. Okay, another question to you then, Good Ship Lollipop. And if you want to give me your first name, that's fine as well. Is a, a question and also a statement. I know that in the early times, a lot of people wanted to hide their interest in their use of the tarot for many reasons. So that is something that maybe is going to be a part of your answer too. Carla, you have so much knowledge, Carol. Thank you, Carla. I told you I'm still learning. What books do you recommend on tarot? Um, the one that is because okay, Carla, great questions. Now, if you would have asked me that 8 years ago, I would have definitely say, and I still do today, Rachel Pollack. But I like the new ones of the idiot books or you know nothing about tarot. It's amazing. I think I everything you need to know about tarot, one of those books. And it's amazing the amount of information that they cover. And from that, you can see where you feel you want to, because the tarot is, you can use it for personal growth, you can use it for divination, um, uh, and psychological, for shadow work, for dream analysis. You find out where it is your critique, your interest, why you picked up the tarot. I can use Summer for an example. She wanted answers outside herself. So it's the reason why. But yeah, Rachel Pollack is still one of my all-time recommendations for beginning. All right. Thank you, Carla. Ariel, your sparkling personality overcomes. Thank you. I'm a happy person. Thank you, Ariel. That's very kind. Okay, Good Ship Lollipop. My name is Lindsay. Hey, beautiful name. Oh, and you have, if we're going to talk about numerology, Lindsay, and I just want to make a little observation there, you're an old soul because your first valve is a consonant that is not considered one of the main excuse me, not of the main vowels, A, E, I, O, U. It is sometimes Y. And the Y digs into the past. It is underground. You see the V on top and the Y on the bottom. So you are an old soul just by your first name, Carla. I still have a lot to learn about symbology on. Yes, it's symbology kind of is in a box, but it'll mean different things to different people. Again, going by your own experience and also your own karmic background. Some symbols to people are, ooh, macabre, don't want to see it. as an example, some people do not want to see snakes. They're afraid of them. Tarot has snakes in them. So again, it's your history that's going to pull you through that symbology. So if that helps you a little bit there, Carla, and it's a work in progress. It really is. But once you get to the basics, you'll do fine. Thank you. You are welcome, sweet lady. Good ship lollipop. Thank you, Carol. You're a gem. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Absolutely. Going back to the question about learning symbology. I would start out with the symbols that interest you because your mind is already open to wanting to know those and you will remember them. It's the ones that are least important that you find no identifying identity with that may be a little hard to remember. Um, that's another thing that I want to say maybe later on. Right now, I want to keep reading. Remind me that I had a little something that I wanted to share with you. Carla said, oh, I see. Yes, great, great. Dawn has said, when I started, I looked forward to the death card because it meant things were changing. Beautiful, yes. And Dawn, the death card, if you look at it, it resembles um, the we see the skeleton and it's almost like taking out the layers of our persona, what we wear, the image we portray, and getting down to the bare bones. And that's what changes us when we get to look at what's inside of us. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Dawn. Ariel, in the 70s, I got interested in symbology. As an artist, I used hearts as a major theme. So the heart led me to study. Yes. And when we look, the symbology of the heart is universal. Also, Ariel, the word heart means in French, it's called cœur. And cœur is the heart, but it also comes from courage. So we have to have courage from the heart to really make some changes. When it's uncomfortable, sometimes our heart will close down. Again, I'm so glad you brought that up, Ariel. And you can see how it took maybe courage for you to become a writer or to write that which was, um, bubbling up in you. She goes on to say tarot was a natural, yeah, young and yes, John Campbell. When the feminine symbology, moon and the goddess, today it's what shows up. Okay, and I want to add to that area because, yes, absolutely, Carl Jung, Swiss psychologist, and of course, Joseph Campbell, who went on PBS and changed the whole world about symbology and the myth of men and mythology. I'm sure everyone here listening is aware of that. I want to add to Ariel because she says about the moon and the goddess. When we entered into the 2000th century, when we got out of the 1900s and we hit the 2000, we went out from the male energy and went to the female energy. And that is why you had the reoccurrence of the goddess and the moon. Now we are 20 years into that, and we're going to see a little change around the year 2025 with that goddess energy. I also think very soon we are going to elect a female president. Okay. Going back to Good Ship Lollipop, he says, my birthday is August 13th. I love the death card also. Great, because 13 is not an unlucky number, not at all. It's a superstition. But if you remember, there were 13 disciples. If we add up the 12 disciples, Jesus made the 13th. So how can that be unlucky? All right, Feathered Happiness. I would like to know more about the personal year card for 2022. You have previously said there is an overlap if your birthday is mid-October. I am finding this happening on the 30th of September. Is that possible? Yes, absolutely. There's an overlap because those of us who are born in October, November, and December, we are at the last of the year cycle. So when the universal year changes its number, our birthday changes birthday to birthday, but because it is towards the tail end, we're still vibrating from when that previous year right up until I usually say the end of July. So me, myself, and I being a November birthday, I am now going to start resonating to the 2022 energy because of my late birthday. So yes, you are absolutely right. Carla says, I am drawn to dragons, snakes, and cats. As for, let's see, let me bring that up because it's not, I'm going to have to bend down. I'm sorry, Carla, bear with me. Um, as far as being the most beautiful creature, aesthetically speaking, numbers speak to me along with certain colors. Woo. Carla, you are fascinated in your diversity of that symbology because as you call yourself, and I wouldn't call yourself a newbie. You keep saying you're a newbie. You are not. You're an old soul who has now come into your power of your spiritual self. So you put aside everything else that caught your attention, raising kids, earning a living, whatever it was, and now you are entering into yourself, your spirituality. Saying what you just said on that text there, um, I would really meditate on, since you already identify very strongly with those symbols, the cat, the dragon, and the snake, I would really start meditating on your personal numbers. And if my memory serves me right, 8 is an important number for you. And look at that symbology and ask for information from that symbol personal for you. Okay. Um, Ariel gives me thumbs up. Thank you, Ariel. B, are you Sagittarius, Carol? No, B, I am a very late Scorpio, 28 degrees Scorpio, with a early Cancer rising. So I do have Sagittarius tendencies. I have a moon in Taurus. So yeah, and a lot of people do see the Sagittarius in me. And I think what it is, which you may be picking up, B, which isn't very Scorpion. And I have a stellium. I have 5 planets in Scorpio. And I have to tell you, my mother and my grandmother panicked when I was born because of my chart, and everything that they worried about never happened. But I think, B, what you're picking up is that 28 degrees of Scorpio, as well as everything is in the 5th house, which is a fire house. So I do have that, maybe that fiery energy. Not always, but I can tap into it when I need it. And then I recoil and get really, really deep with that Scorpio sun sign and all the planets that drag me in there. So I have to kind of climb my way out sometimes. Thank you for that question, B. Carla, oh yes, thank you so much. Okay, I think we've answered all. Now, what I wanted, let me see if I can, my memory serves me right. What I wanted to reiterate is what I said earlier when we were talking about the symbology. When you go to read cards, do it with what I used to say, soft eyes, and just scan over the cards, the card that you're looking at. So let's say I'm looking at, let me give you an example. I did take some cards out. Here's a good one. Let's take the magician. Okay, the magician comes out. And what I like to do is I scan it. I start on the top and I go down, and I don't focus until all of a sudden my eyes will stop. And it might be on the Ouroboros, the snake that is biting its own tail. And if your eyes stop there, then that is the symbolic message that is important in order to interpret the rest of the card. So, and it could be the roses or the white lilies. It could be his hand, but learn to just when you see the card, just scan it down and see if your eyes focus on one particular symbol. So if I did stop at the snake and I'm looking at the magician, here's an example. I would say that I have come to a completion of some type of knowledge that I was searching for that now will enable me to empower my divine will. The magician is the divine will, and what it is, I'm searching for that answer. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, no more questions. Okay, everybody was kind of listening to that. Was that helpful? Is that something that someone else has already done and found it to be helpful? I see. Wow. Thank you, Carla. Great. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. Please, everybody that's listening and everybody that's communicating, this ability is in you. I've just had more time to fine tune it. That's all. That's all. And I've learned some tricks, and my students and my clients have been my biggest teachers. Carla, oh wow, I see. Okay. Yes, that was a good tip. Great, great. And if you get stuck, so let's say you look at that serpent devouring its own tail and you're not quite sure what that symbology is, pick up the book and look it up. So don't, and then if you're not sure what the roses mean, or the white lilies, pick up a book and look them up. Red roses are desires. Desires is karma is fueled by our desire. Our desires created our karma, and then karma comes back, and what we desire, we really have to think about. That's why you have the lilies of pure thought, to make sure you don't create more karma if you're going to go with those red roses of desire. Okay. Carla, dragons. Yes, yes, dragons are cool. And Aleister Crowley in his Thaw deck uses them a lot, I think, in the Fool card, and it has a lot to do with a great amount of wisdom. Okay. Anything else that you would like to talk about or focus on? We're just in a half hour. I thought I would do another half hour if people are interested. I thought a good hour might be great. I know everybody is busy and has a life. So let me know. Carla gives me a happy face. She's good to go. All right. Nothing yet. I think everybody might be typing. I will give you a few minutes. Now, certainly this is definitely different than radio because you have headsets on and you're getting feedback from the person who has called in and is talking to you. So I can see where this is a little different, a little slower. We have to be patient. We have to keep the rhythm going. If you don't mind, I do. Okay. Took me a minute, Ariel. Okay. The Thaw deck was my first deck. Whoa, girl, did you take a big leap? That is not usually the first deck that people choose because of the symbology. Also, the history of Aleister Crowley. A lot of my students would say, I read his background. He was heavily into this, he did that, and it colored their image of him, unfortunately, so they put that deck down. But Aria, my hat's off to you that you went for that deck immediately. Feathered Happiness, can you chat about reverse, please? They really throw me off. Yes, and they throw a lot of people off, and a lot of people stay away from them. It is a choice, and how I teach the reverse, I teach it right from the beginning. That way people don't get comfortable and they don't fear it. And there are a few cards, believe it or not, that are more positive reverse than they are upright. So Some people will tell me, a lot of tarot practitioners would say, I don't read reverse, but I have learned, they have critiqued it, they understand it, they're intuitive to understand when a reverse card comes up, how they can adjust it, temper it for the meaning. And that's great. If that works for you, a professional tarot reader will know if that works for he or she or him very, very shortly if they're a professional. What I like to do is, again, going back to that tip that I said earlier, is go ahead and scan the card and just basically, let me give you an example. Um, Please bear with me. It won't take me that. Okay. Now, the 10 of Swords. Okay, basically it is a positive card in a sense, because we do see the horizon coming. But if it's reverse, what I like to say to people is, you went through a major change and challenge in your life, but you really were able to get through it very quickly. Because now what am I seeing? I'm not seeing the black clouds. Go by the visual. You're now seeing more. The first thing you're seeing when you're going to go down, you're going to see the yellow. Logically, those swords, yeah, they're going to penetrate, they're going to hurt, but gravity's going to release them. So I look at this as, yes, a tempering of the meaning of the original 10 of Swords, but that individual didn't stay in the shadow, in the lesson, as long as the one that it was upright. That's what I would like to have you consider to help you understand the reverse meanings. Ariel, we're talking about reverse meanings of cards. She says, I think it's neither good nor bad. Ariel also goes on to says, just only thinking makes it so. Sometimes, yes, I will agree with that. Carla, I see Christian symbols with the sword, a cross. Excellent, Carla. Yes. Because yeah, a cross is also a symbol of salvation. It's also a symbol of crucifixion. The same with the sword. If a knife is in a surgeon's hand and cuts away the cancer or the infection, you're healed. But if a knife is in a murderer's hand, you may die. And that is the dichotomy and the symbology of everything in the tarot. And Carla, thank you. That's a beautiful analogy. There is always sacrifice and there is also always healing. And we really don't learn unless we have some kind of sacrificial waking up period where something is lost, we mourn it, we grieve it, but in the long run, it makes us much more wiser, stronger. Let me continue, Ariel. When you turn the 10 of Swords over, I saw the beach for the first time. Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. And there's mixed feelings as to what that is, whether that's water, whether that's just blue. Yes, but I get what you're saying. Yes, you see the blueness. Yeah. And blue is healing. Blue is the unconscious, and the unconscious is very close to the figure in the card. Dead red roses. Okay. What do you mean by that, Carla? Can you explain that? She put, hi, dead red roses. Is that someone who just came into our chat room? Must be. I see. Hi. Hi, dead. Sorry. Can you give me your first name if you don't mind? If not, I will call you Dead Red Roses. Carla, I apologize. Since we were talking about red roses of desire, I thought that was an additional information on that. Nadi, am I correct saying it correctly? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Nadia. Oh, Nadia. Oh, a beautiful name. Again, let me say a little bit. You have two A's. Your first vowel is an A, and your last vowel and the end of your name is an A. So, Nadia, you have a lot of leadership ability. That N is a 5. You have strong desires. Um, Guts, because that 5 is now added with the A vibration, the one, your soul. You come back this lifetime to experiment, choose. You have a lot of options. Ultimately, you're going to be redefining who you are, because the D says to you after a while, settle down, explore, have a great time. But that D is the 4, and it's asking you to settle down. I'm going to say, let's say by your 60s, okay? Settle down by your 60s. All right, feathered happiness. Thank you, Carol. As I sometimes understand, other readers only work with 78 card meanings and not 156. As they say, there is enough balance in the 78 cards. Would you agree? My name is Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. Yes, I do agree that there is enough information, and the more that a tarot reader um, learns, experiences, she's going to throw her books out, because through her tarot journal, through the feedback that she's getting from her clients, her family members, even herself, her own personal growth, she has learned those cards are unique and they are going to talk to her in her way, in the symbolic way. And they will be the cards. Again, we interpret the cards by the one above it, the one next to it, the one underneath it. All of that gets mixed in. I'm getting too much. What happens to me, friends, please realize that sometimes I get a lot of stuff coming in and I venture all over the place. So a good tarot reader is going to his or her style. The other thing I want to say is that is the reason why new people who are starting to learn the tarot, you season your cards. It used to be you slept with them under your pillow. A lot of people don't do that, but you wear, you might carry them, you use them, you shuffle them, you meditate with them, you contemplate with them. You put them on your altar, you look at them, and that is personalizing your deck. That's all part of being able to understand how the tarot is speaking to you. Okay. I hope that helps, Vanessa. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Nadia, uh, do you know anything about no, I do not, the CED tarot deck? I just got it, and oh my God, it's interesting. I do not, Nadia, I kind of have stopped getting new decks for myself at this stage in my life. I do look, I'm fascinated. I love watching other people do unboxing. Share what is so interesting for those of us in the chat room right now with the CED tarot deck. And maybe there's someone else out there who have just picked it up. Uh, Feathered happiness. Yes, thanks. It does help. You're welcome. It's not a Rider-Waite deck. Sure, right, right. Uh-huh. Is it, what system is it based on? The CED. I think I have heard about it. But if you resonate with it, then you found your deck. It's usually immediate. Within 2 or 3 hours of working with the deck, you get a feel for it. It's a living deck. I have no idea what that means. Not quite sure either. And I'm going to ask the community right now if they know what that means. I would venture a guess, but again, it's only a guess. If it's a living deck, that means that the symbology are interchangeable again with the concepts that you believe or live by. So it could be based more on a archetypal, psychological base creative deck, what it was on. And maybe it's more of the changing times that we are in. Okay. Anything else for anybody that has anything to share with us? Is anyone here in the chat room a professional tarot reader? I would love to know that. Does anyone have any questions that they're having that they would like to share about the deck that they are using or they recommend for beginners other than the Rider-Waite-Smith deck? That would be great. Okay. We're still waiting. No one is typing anything right now. And Nadia, can I ask you what the symbol is next to your channel name? Okay, Carla has asked something. Yay. I just looked it up and it says it's a hand down tarot deck. Thank you, Carla, of 78 cards that uses nature and animal symbology. Living deck. There you go. There you go. Makes sense. Carla, I appreciate that. And that's going to help with red Dead red roses. There you go. So it's about nature and animals. Yes. And we are as a collective, and when we entered into the 2000s, it's all about the feminine. What's feminine? Mother Nature. We are seeing more interest in the ecosystem, with climate change, with keeping the environment clean, drinking water, everything. We're seeing that because of that vibration of the number two. Ariel says, just Googled CEE deck, says that it is a Gnostic. Wow, transmission. Ooh, that's my heart's throb right there. The Gnostic. Thank you, Ariel, very much. Ooh, I didn't see that, but yes, yes. Ariel, yes, I thought so too. Okay, Dead Red Roses says the cosmology of the CED tarot is based on a compass of airs, winds, a system based on the winds of creation, wind being no, no, pneumonia, the breath of spirit as it expresses vibrational states of being. Yes, excellent. Without air, there would be no life. And if we think about it, we entered into this world with a first breath of air and we leave with our last breath. And that seems to encompass nature, and spirit comes through the breath. Um, when we get relaxed and we breathe in very deeply, we change consciousness immediately. Spirit is coming in for sure. The deck is divided. Okay, red, Dead Red Roses goes on to say the deck is divided into three main cosmological groupings: the directional powers of the earth, yep, the stars of faith, and the moon, mother of the tides of change. Thank you for sharing that. That's very good. That explains so much. And I am going to look into that deck. I appreciate that. That's what it says. Okay. I have no clue what this stuff is. It's okay. Keep working with it. But it is nature. It'll come to you. You are born from nature. So it's all going to work out. Don't try to analyze it. Again, folks, that just hit me. We try to, we go to school, and what do? They teach you reason, how to analyze things, and that's excellent. But we close down the intuition. We try to figure it out. And while we're doing that, analyzing, we go back to what we learned, or what we don't know. It's when we just go with, okay, well, what does this mean? And we question it, and we don't get into the cerebrum, and we get into Let me see what that means to me. And you open up to receive it. You're letting that intuition go in. So there's a big difference there. Getting that mind to close down. I want to see this deck. Yes, I do too. Carla's interested too. Wow, you've opened up a can of worms there, Dead Red Roses. Ariel, sounds like the triple goddess. It does? It sure does. Now, does anyone have any interest in other subject matters while we're here? We want to keep it with tarot. We have about 10 more minutes. I thought an hour would be long enough to keep everybody. Um, if that would be something that we could chat about. I think this might be a good segue for me to tell everyone that Carla Astrology, Carla, who is here today, and I are going to do a collaboration on her channel about palmistry, the hands, and we are going to be doing that. I'm so pleased to be collaborating with her to be a part of her wisdom of palmistry on the 31st Sunday 1 o'clock. Carla, if I misstepped anywhere there, let me know. But I'm going to throw that in. Okay, let's see. I know I have a few things. The moon phases. Yes. Dead Red Roses is asking the moon phases, which are very, very strong right now and will continue to be strong. Watching where the moon is in the signs, there's a lot going on. We are transforming, friends, and we're a little late in the get go because we are in the year 2022, which is a sixth vibration. We got to understand. We got to have self love first, and then we have to understand how we present that love to everything around us. Ourselves first, of course, our connection with spirit, and then everyone, family, relationships. So it's the moon has a lot to do with bringing up what still needs to be healed. Carla, yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Carla. I am excited too. Um, to have that opportunity. And hopefully, we can do more collaborations. People who are listening to this, if you're interested in doing a collaboration or a subject matter that you would like me to cover, please feel free to email me, text me, or even put it here. Dead Red Roses. Oh, nice. I love to learn about palmistry. My mom and grandmother used to do it. Well, you've got to tune in to Carla Astrology. She already has some videos. She started explaining the major lines and the planets connected to it. I think you will enjoy it. Please check that out. Are you a prof? I mean to say, are your professional readings primarily astrology and numerology? They are three. When someone books a reading with me, I first ask them for their name, just their first name. I do not ask for their last name for privacy readings. From that name, I do a little bit of numerology. I ask them for their birth date. I will check their major planets, do some numerology prior to then coming in for the reading. And then I talk about the cycle that they're in numerology, they're characteristic by their first name, their planets in astrology that stick out to me. Once in a while, I will do a chart if they have their time of birth, and I will look at their ascendant. But basically, it's an introduction trying to get them open, comfortable, and then I open up and I do a tarot reading because the tarot has all of those three sciences. It has numerology, astrology, has the Kabbalah, of course, has symbology, and then the divination process. So I do all of those three in a session. Thank you for that question, Carla. You're welcome. Okay, anything else? Ariel says she's looking forward to the collaboration, Carla. That's great. We are too. Um, You're going to be looking at your hands and doing your own personal diagnosis as Carla and I explain this. What do you think about past life regression? I'm hesitating, Carla, because I do believe in it. Um, there is so much information about it that I think it has colored people's perspective and they've internalized different ideas. I do think it's genuine. I think it depends on the practitioner who is getting you into that altered state. I think it's very hard as someone who's still working on their personality self to put aside the ego completely in order to let in the real aspects of the true regression of who you were, what you did, and what you come back for. And that's my belief. Hopefully that helps. Ariel says thank you to Carla. Okay, and you're welcome, Ariel. All right, it looks like we're probably going to be ready to close down. Ah, thank you, everybody. This has been wonderful for my first time. Um, I hope I've helped in some way. Thank you for being here today with me, and come back Sunday at 1 o'clock, and Carla and I will do it again, and you'll be able to see both of us. Have a great day, friends. I'm going to close you down for now. Bye.